My name is Christian Wolfsberg. I teach math at Grand Prairie High School. I teach college algebra and pre-calculus. I want to tell you about my daughter, Eliana. Music was her passion. At 12 years old, she was singing and playing guitar in coffee houses around Arlington. As a sophomore at Martin High School, she won their Martin Idol contest. She had her own YouTube channel. Music was the thing she loved doing more than anything else. She was also an honor roll student. She took advanced classes. By her sophomore year, she was enrolled in several advanced classes. To try to stay at the top of her class, she started taking Ritalin to keep up with the workload that she had. Unfortunately, because she was doing this without medical supervision, the medication she was taking started to make her anxious. So to combat the anxiety, she started taking anti-anxiety medication, again without medical supervision. Well, this started her on a cycle because the anti-anxiety medication would cause her to become lethargic and sleepy, so then she'd take the stimulants to pep up so that she could do her work, and then she'd become anxious, so she'd take more anti-anxiety. And it just spiraled from there. Making the problem worse for her was that she was starting to have symptoms of bipolar disorder. So all of her emotions and her mood swings were much more severe than they would otherwise have been. By the time her senior year started, things were starting to fall apart for Eliana. Her grades that semester were poor. She was getting in trouble at school. Her chores were undone. She was starting to lose touch with reality. One day she forgot to pick up her little sister from school, and because she was home sleeping off a binge of taking medication that she shouldn't have been taking. Her brother came home and found her asleep and found her stash of pills and told her mother and me about what was going on. At first, we tried to deal with Eliana's substance abuse on her own, but after a couple of months, it became clear that we did not have the resources we needed to get Eliana the help that she needed. So we, with her agreement, she enrolled in an inpatient substance abuse treatment program in Oklahoma, and she spent 3 months there. She finished her high school career there. When she got out, she was committed to staying sober. We enrolled her in the University of Texas at Arlington. She even managed to earn some academic scholarships despite her interruption in studies her senior year. But by that time, her bipolar disorder was worsening to the point where she couldn't finish her classes. We had to withdraw her, and she struggled for the next several months until she finally had a full manic episode in February of her freshman year of college. She spent almost the entire month of February of 2016 hospitalized. It took them about that long to get her correct diagnosis and get her the right medication to stabilize her mental health. When she was discharged, she was as committed to staying mentally healthy as we were to helping her stay mentally healthy. She said to me, "Dad, I don't want to be manic more than you don't want me to be manic." And she started to try to put her life back together. Eliana worked hard at staying sober and at being self-sufficient. She saw her psychiatrist regularly. She took her bipolar medication faithfully. She enrolled in classes at Tarrant County College. She started dating. Her boyfriend graduated from Texas Tech, and he got a job in Boston in early 2019. And a couple of months later, Eliana moved up there to be with him. She enrolled in Bunker Hill Community College, started taking classes, and they began to build a life for themselves there in Boston. When COVID-19 hit and the lockdown started happening, it was a struggle for Eliana. She persevered in her classes and in her medication, but the problem was that she felt a great deal of shame over the trouble and expense that she'd caused. As a result, she did not ask for help when she needed help. She started increasing the amount of medication that she was taking. This was her prescribed medication, but because her anxiety was increasing, she started taking more of it to try to mitigate her symptoms. She was unable to see her psychiatrist because of the lockdown, so she ran out of her medication earlier. When that happened, she decided that she would try to get something that wasn't prescribed for her. And she got a counterfeit Xanax from a neighbor. What Eliana didn't know was that the medication that she thought was safe had fentanyl in it. Very early in the morning on March 19th of this year, 2 policemen knocked on our front door. They told us that Eliana's boyfriend had found her unconscious and unresponsive on the couch in their apartment. They tried to revive her, but they were not successful. Eliana died at the age of 23 from taking what she thought was a safe pill, but was not prescribed for her and had fentanyl in it. 10 days before Eliana's death, in what I can only call a cruel irony, Eliana's neighbor died of an overdose. Eliana was the one to find her, and she was so upset by that I went to see her over our spring break, and she told me that could have been her. She hugged me and she cried and she said that could have been her. She didn't want it to be her. She wanted to live. She wanted to succeed. But because she trusted the wrong person, she didn't do either of those things. You need to understand that substance abuse can happen to anyone. It happened to an honor student who was extremely talented at music and had a really bright future. It can happen to you. When you choose to take drugs, in whatever form, you are trusting that someone who breaks the law to make money is not going to harm you. Someone who profits off the suffering and misery of countless numbers of other people. You don't know, you cannot know how many hits it will take before you are addicted. You cannot know if a pill that you get off the street is safe or if it's laced with fentanyl or something else that will cost you your life. I'm telling you this story because I don't want to have happen to anyone else what happened to me and my family. And last, if you or someone you care about is struggling with substance abuse, please know there is help available. There are resources here at the school. There are resources here in the district. Talk to your counselor. Talk to the social worker. Talk to a teacher you trust. Talk to me, even if you're not my student. I care about what happens to you. Please, there is help available. Don't wait until it's too late.